I propose Councillor Scott Jones as chairperson.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please?
I'm very happy to second that.
Thanks very much. Okay, we'll move to agenda item 2, Chair's announcement. Can I say good morning and welcome to the hybrid meeting of Environment, Regeneration and Street Scene Services Cabinet Board on the 3rd of March 2023. I'm Councillor Scott Jones and I'm the Cabinet Member for Street Scene. A few points that I'd like to cover, if I may. Can I ask everyone to ensure that your phones are switched for to silent for the duration of the meeting? Can I ask members and officers who are present in the chamber to please use their microphones when speaking? And when asked if you could raise your hand, your virtual hand or your physical hand in the chamber. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 3, declarations of interest. Can I ask members or officers if there's any declarations of interest from members today based on the items included within the agenda?
I see no hands raised, Chair.
Thank you, Tammy. Okay, therefore we'll move to agenda item 4, minutes of the previous meeting. We have the minutes of the meeting on the 20th of January 2022 before us. I think that should be for 2023.
Apologies, Chair. Yes, you're correct.
For accuracy, on pages 5 to 10 of your report pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
Thank you. And a seconder, please.
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, therefore we'll move to agenda item 5, Forward Work Programme 2022 to 2023. The Forward Work Programme is here for noting on pages 11 and 12 of the agenda pack. Tammy, is there anything you wish to add, please?
No, nothing from me, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, therefore we'll move to agenda item 6, public question time. We haven't received any notifications from the public at today's meeting. Therefore, we'll move to agenda item 7, Highways and Engineering Works Programme 2023 to 2024. The report is on pages 13 to 26 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please? No. Okay. Thank you. Members, any questions, observations, please? No. Therefore, I refer members to the recommendation on page 15 of the circulated agenda pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
Thank you. And a seconder, please.
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your electronic hand or physical hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. And I'm going to ask Tammy to confirm that's the case, please.
Yes, that recommendation's been approved, Chair.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, therefore we'll move to agenda item 8, Vehicle and Heavy Plant Fleet Procurement Programme 2023 to 2024. The report is on pages 27 to 42 and is here for decision. At this moment in time, before I ask officers to come in any further comments, I'm going to ask the Chair of Scrutiny if it's okay, because I believe that the amendment now needs at this stage to come forward. If you don't mind putting the amendment forward.
Just bear with me a moment. So the amendment from the Scrutiny Committee reads as follows. Having due regard to the integrated impact assessment, it is recommended that members approve the purchase of the zero emission vehicles in the proposed vehicle procurement programme for 23-24, set out at Appendix A. And point 26, that the delegated authority be granted to the head of service in consultation with the Cabinet Member for strategic planning, transport and connectivity to purchase any zero emission vehicles in order to maximise the availability of grant funding that may be available to assist with the purchase cost of the vehicles. And additional point 27, that the purchase of the fossil fuel powered vehicles included in Appendix A and any additional vehicles be subject to further reports to Cabinet Board for approval, with justification as to why zero emission alternative is not able to be purchased. So for clarity, Chair, we're adding in the purchase of zero emission vehicles in point 25 and 26, just to clarify that.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm going to invite Mr. Roberts or Mr. Griffiths or both really to come in at this point to sort of advise Cabinet from an officer perspective, you know, on their beliefs on the amendment. Mr. Roberts, would you like to come in at this point?
Thank you, Chair. I just looking in the chat at the detailed of the wording of the proposed amendment, I mean, starting at the last point, that the purchase of fossil fuel powered vehicles, including Appendix A, and any additional vehicles be subject to further reports to Cabinet for approval. I noticed there are items like a JCB in the list. There's a lorry roadman. I'm looking at colleagues now, Kevin Lewis in particular, running the garage. The lorry roadman, I'm assuming, is the hotbox vehicle. Yeah, so with hotbox vehicle, specialist vehicle, JCB specialist vehicle. We know JCB as a company are doing a lot at the moment in terms of trying to get into the market, things like hydrogen vehicles, but they're not there at the moment, and we don't have the infrastructure to support that. So the ride-on mowers, I'm not sure if that counts as vehicles under the thing, you know. So there are quite a few things in that list which we're not getting approval for, and we would have to come back. So I do have some concerns about the last point, also about the zero emissions. The bulk of what's in there is electric vehicles, so I think it's showing our intention as a council there. There is the question over the recycling vehicles. That is a significant purchase, and there is a significant contribution from Welsh Government that is needed within the council's current budget approvals to facilitate purchasing those vehicles. So I don't know, I'm going to call on my colleague, Head of Engineering Transport, and Kevin for a minute, but I don't know if the better way is to just say that everything on the list is approved for tendering, and that anything that's non-electric comes back to the board for approval is perhaps a better way of doing it. I don't want to take your view on that, Mr. Griffiths.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with anything that Mike has said there. I think as it currently stands, that it could be detrimental to service delivery. So I would prefer, as suggested, that if we can't secure it via a low emission procurement, that we actually come back and seek further approval to purchase a fossil fuel vehicle. As I say, I think coming back each time before we actually do it will add in a considerable delay to the procurement programs. Kevin, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, I agree totally. You know, there is a lot of there are vehicles out there on the market, and I did highlight in the last meeting that, you know, a lot of specialist vehicles, like you said, with the road mender, hotbox, some plant JCBs, etc. They're just simply not available at the moment, and rather than, like you said, the procurement process is long enough as it is when we're going out for these groups of vehicles and plant. If we can deal with it as a group, that we're not going to sort of like be able to achieve an alternative that would be better suited for the procurement process. And even down to like 4x4 vehicles at the moment, there's not anything on the market on zero emission yet. So, you know, when we drill in down into specifics, I mean, we've put an alternative, because that will be our first protocol to look at what's out there and what's available, but it's got to be something that's going to be practical and is fit for purpose as well. So if we could, so like, you know, we could come back with the list that we know is definitely not achievable, and others that we are looking at as well. So I agree with Dave, and I agree with Mike.
Okay, thanks very much, officers. Okay, can I ask my cabinet colleagues if they've got any questions or observations?
No questions, Chair.
Thank you.
Is the one question? If we don't go ahead with the procurement as it stands, how detrimental and how long do you think it would take to get equivalent vehicles, or is it going to be a waiting game until they come on the market?
If I
Thank
come,
you.
yeah, if I come in, yeah, we constantly watching the market to see what's coming available. The biggest problem we've got at the moment now, councillor, is that we've had the impact with the Ukraine just coming out of the pandemic. There's a massive issue with supply on semiconductors and just raw materials really to make these vehicles. And when they're looking at transition, a lot of these are crucial to the transition vehicles as well, the electric vehicles, the development of hydrogen. So there's a lot of unknowns at the moment, but we are constantly, and like I said, I work with all the other local authority fleet managers and Welsh Government, and we're looking at any new technology comes on. But we've got to get it in, we've got to try it, we've got to test it, we've got to make sure it's suitable for especially frontline service delivery. And as soon as we can establish that something works, like with the recycler, we've had it in already and we've tried it, then we're confident then to go ahead with the transition. But if we were going to look at procurement, I suppose it's we still be able to, I think, as long as something comes on the market, achieve the target set out. But if it's just for the interim period, we may have to look at a long-term lease or a long-term hire, or perhaps a purchase to take up the the amount of years that's required until something else comes on the market to transition over.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks very much. Councillor Griffiths, any further questions?
No, that's fine, thanks.
No. Okay, thank you. Okay, I can advise that we have taken into account the views of the scrutiny committee, but feel that officers are aware of the council's environmental responsibilities in making a priority, and having taken into account the current budget restraints, the pressures, we find it difficult on this occasion to support the scrutiny's amendments. For reasons outlined by officers in terms of potentially having a detrimental impact to service delivery, and also then, potentially restricting the scope of delegated powers to officers at times, when we need to make progress with things. However, I can confirm that we're happy to support such reports coming back here, to scrutiny for information in due course. Therefore, can I refer members to the recommendation on page 31 of the circulated agenda pack? Can I ask for a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
And a seconder, please?
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your electronic hand, or for members present in the chamber today by raising your physical hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. I'm now going to ask Tammy to confirm that that's the case, please.
Yes, Chair, I see no hands raised, so those recommendations have gone through as per the report. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks very much, Tammy. Okay, therefore we move to agenda item 9, traffic order, Pont Neath Road, Neath. The report is on pages 43 to 58 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments on the report, please?
Nothing to add, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, members, any comments or questions? There are none. Okay, therefore I refer members to the recommendation on page 47 of the circulated agenda pack. I propose, if I can have a seconder, please.
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your electronic hand or physical hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. And I'm now going to ask Tammy to confirm that's the case, please.
Yes, that recommendation has been approved, Chair.
Thank you. Therefore, we move on to agenda item 10, traffic order, Pont Neath Road, Neath, 30 mile per hour speed restriction. The report is on pages 59 to 74 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
Nothing to add.
Thank you. Any questions or observations from members? There are none. Okay, therefore, can I refer members to the recommendation on page 64 of the circulated agenda pack? Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose,
And
Chair.
a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your electronic hand or your physical hand, you're in the chamber, I will assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. I'm going to ask Tammy to confirm that if the item has been approved, please.
Yes, that item has been approved, Chair.
Thank you, Tammy. Okay, therefore we'll move on to agenda item 11, traffic order, Cymru to Glencorrog. The report is on pages 75 to 90 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
Nothing, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any questions or observations? There are none. Okay, therefore I refer members to recommendations on page 80 of the circulated agenda pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
And a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, members, if you not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. And I'm going to ask Tammy to confirm that the item has been approved.
Yes, once again, Chair, that item has been approved.
Great, thank you. Agenda item 12, traffic order, Amazon and various others. The report is on pages 91 to 106 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if you have any further comments to add, please?
Again, nothing to add, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to ask members if there's any questions or observations. There are none. Okay, therefore, can I refer members to the recommendations on page 93 of the circulated agenda pack? Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
And a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendations. I'm going to ask Tammy to confirm that the item has been approved, please.
No indications to the contrary, Chair, that item has been approved.
Thanks very much. Okay, therefore we'll move to agenda item 13, various individual disabled parking places. The report is on pages 107 to 116 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
No, nothing to add, Chair. It's straightforward.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to ask members if there's any questions or observations. There are none. Okay, therefore I refer members to the recommendation on page 109 of the circulated agenda pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
And a seconder?
Second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. And I'm now going to ask Tammy to confirm that the item has been approved.
That item's been approved, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 14, traffic orders for waste management service. The report is on pages 117 to 130 and is here for decision. I'm going to ask officers if there's any further comments to add.
Just to alert members that the Legal and Democratic Services Division has already received objections to one of the proposals. We will be writing back to the objectors, acknowledging receipt of the petition and explaining that at this moment in time there is no proposal to implement. We are purely requesting members today to authorise the advertisement of the orders and that requesting them to resubmit them so that they can be the objections can be considered within the legal advertisement time frame. My understanding is that it's in relation to Hawthorne Close. So that was just for members' information.
Thanks very much.
I've got nothing further to add then, Chair.
Thanks very much, David. Okay, can I ask members if you've got any questions or observations? There are none. Therefore, I'll refer members to the recommendation on page 120 of the circulated agenda pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
And a seconder, please.
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. I'm now going to ask Tammy to confirm that the item's been approved, please.
No indications to the contrary, Chair, that item's been approved.
Thank you. Therefore, we'll move on to agenda item 15, traffic order, Village Road, Village Gardens, Pentraben Road, Aberafan. The report is on pages 131 to 146 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
Nothing further to add on this item, Chair.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, members, any questions, observations? There are none. Okay, I'll refer to members on the recommendation on page 134 and 135 of the circulated agenda pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
I propose, Chair.
And a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. And I'm going to ask Tammy to confirm if the item has been approved, please.
Confirm that is approved, Chair.
Thanks very much. Therefore, we'll move on to agenda item 16, list of approved contractors. The report is on pages 147 to 160 and is here for decision. Can I ask officers if there's any further comments to add, please?
Nothing to add, Chair.
Thanks very much. Members, if you do have any questions or observations? There are none. Okay, I now refer members to recommendations on pages 149 of the circulated agenda pack. Can I have a proposer, please?
Propose, Chair.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. And I'm now going to ask Tammy to confirm that that item has been approved.
That item has been approved, Chair.
Thanks very much. Okay, agenda item 17, key performance indicators 2022 to 2023, quarter 3. The report is on pages 161 to 176 and is here for monitoring. Do officers have any further comments, please? No? Okay. Members, any questions, observations? No? Okay, the report is for monitoring. Members, are you happy to note the monitoring report?
Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thanks very much. Okay, we'll therefore move on to agenda item 18, waste strategy review, task and finish group. This is the report to the Environment, Regeneration and Streetscene Services, the waste strategy review, task and finish group, and can be found as a supplementary to the report packs. It is on the agenda as an information item, but it's actually for decision. Scrutiny chair or officers, can I ask at this point in time, do you have anything to add, please?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say that at this point, all the report is asking officers and cabinet members to do is to note the report and to commit to coming back to committee with your views and outcomes on the suggested recommendations. But just wanted to add that just want to thank the officers for their 3 hours of their time last Friday as we went through this report in quite some detail, and yourself as well, Scott, for your time. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Thanks very much. Can I ask colleagues if you've got any questions or observations? There are none. Okay. I'd just like to add that you know, we've noted the recommendations made by the task and finish group. We will consider these recommendations and we'll be happy to provide a written response in due course on such conclusions in a forthcoming meeting. Okay, can I therefore refer members to the recommendation on page 5 of the supplementary pack? Can I have a proposer, please?
Propose, Chair.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of the recommendation. And I'm now going to ask Tammy to confirm if the item has been approved, please.
Yes, Chair, that's been approved. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 19, urgent items. I can confirm that I haven't got any urgent items. So therefore, we'll move on to agenda item 20, access to meetings, exclusion of the public. Members, can I advise at this point that we have to consider information contained within the private report? Can I ask for a proposer and a seconder that we move into private, please?
Propose, Chair.
Thank you.
Second, Chair.
Thanks very much. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I'll assume that you're in favour of moving into the private session. And I'm now going to ask Tammy to confirm that there's no objections to that and that we move into private.
No objections, Chair, and I can confirm the recording has stopped and there are no public